Hey everyone, we're going to do a quick series on common questions we get in the construction auditing space over the next 2 weeks. I'm planning on doing just one question a day, putting together a single slide and answering that specific question. So to kick us off, let's talk about money. If you're considering doing a construction audit, a common question would be, well, what kind of return on investment should I expect in performing a construction audit? Okay, so there's a few ways we can look at this metric. What's our return on investment on a construction audit? The first one's the most straightforward. What percentage of spend that we review will come back as either recovered dollars through deductions, check, or write downs on pay applications? We find in complex contracts, which is what we really try to target in this work, it's about 1.5 to 3%. That could be lower if we're talking about a fixed bid environment, but it could creep back up to 1.5 to 3% if it's fixed bid with a lot of change orders. Another way to look at this is what percentage of total errors are undetected errors. What I mean to say is, hey, if I'm doing a project and I'm performing a construction project and I identify just in the course of work $200,000 of overcharges, how much of the pie do I typically find without doing an audit? What we find is that you're only finding about 20 to 40% without doing a full audit. Said differently, if you recover $200,000 just in the course of doing work without an audit, there's probably an additional $400,000 to $800,000 in there if you were to dig deeper. So you can look at that metric as well. So if you're trying to determine if you want to do the work, you can say, hey, 1.5 to 3% of spend is what I expect to get. Another way to look at it is to say, hey, if I've recovered $200,000 just in the course of work, there's probably another $400,000 to $800,000 out there. Those two metrics are good to kind of bump up against each other. When they both make the case, hey, we should look at this, then you're headed in the right direction. So quick value math, $100 million project, we'd expect to find somewhere between $1.5 to $3 million on a complex contract. How does that fit in with the fees that typically go in these types of projects? A lot of time this work is done contingent, meaning that the audit firm takes a percentage of what's recovered. Sometimes it's done hourly. Sometimes it's done as a percentage of spend. But what we typically find is it's on the low end. On the low end, the ROI on what's being paid out to the audit firms is 4 to 5 times higher. So, and often it's honestly 10 to 12 times higher, depending on what we're seeing, what the billing model is. So, really makes sense to look at this stuff. If you've got complex spend, if you're seeing errors just in the course of work, you're probably in a situation where you'd find a lot more dollars if you performed contract compliance or a construction recovery audit. So, if you've gotten this far in the video, appreciate you, and we'll post a new question tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.